जा खाने वाले। और आखिरी शेर, रिज़ा नफ्स दुश्मन है दम लाना, इसकी चाल लाना, कहाँ तुमने देखे हैं चिंदराने वाले, कहाँ तुमने देखे हैं चिंदराने वाले। मेरा दिल भी चमका दे चमकाने वाले। अल्लाह अकबर, अस्तगफिरुल्लाह 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 अज़ीम। सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नस्तगफिरुहु व नु'मिनु बिही व नतवक्कलु अलैहि व नऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना व मिन सय्यिआति अअमालिना। मन यहदिहिल्लाहु फला मुदिल्ल लहु व मन युद्लिल्हु फला हादिय लहु। व नशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वहदहु ला शरीका लहु व नशहदु अन्न सय्यिदना व नबिय्यना व शफीअना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि व सल्लम। अम्मा बअद, फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनुत्तक़ुल्लाहा हक़्क़ तुक़ातिही व ला तमूतुन्न इल्ला व अंतुम मुस्लिमून। व क़ाल अज़्ज़ व जल वअबुद रब्बक हत्ता यअतियकल यक़ीन। व क़ाल जल्ल व अला वमा खलक़तुल जिन्न वल इंस इल्ला लियअबुदून। सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि व सल्लिम व बारिक अला सय्यिदिना व नबिय्यिना मुहम्मदिन व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि। अस्सलामु अलैना व अला इबादिल्लाहिस सालिहीन। As most of you will be aware that this month is related, is attributed to many Anbiya alayhimus salam, which even we do not know, because there are only less than 100 Anbiya and Rusul which people know, which comes in the books. So this means that more than 100,000 prophets and messengers that we do not know even their names, let aside their books or their stories or how they lived their lives and what teachings they gave. But fortunately, by the grace and mercy of Allah Jalla wa Ala, the Quran summarizes all the teachings of all the Anbiya alayhimus salam, from Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam to Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. Move a little bit closer as there are some brothers standing behind. और ये बारियां भी खोल दें, ये जो शीशे हैं ना वो गर्मी भी लग रही. And can the screen be seen? The text on it, is it clear? Sorry? Okay. Always use the other projector, which is better to be used. ठीक, माशाल्लाह. This is also part of deen, to consider the comfort of others and to make place for others. You might remember the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which I mentioned some months ago maybe, that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was sitting alone in Masjid al-Nabawi, and one companion entered the mosque, and he came inside the masjid. The masjid was empty, and he was to sit further away, but the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam moved slightly towards the right or left, and the companion, the Sahabi radiallahu anhu, didn't like that he in a way disturbed the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, but he out of curiosity asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that I could not understand that whilst whole of the mosque is empty and you still moved little bit toward the side as though making a place for someone. Meaning sometimes, because the Sahaba Rizwanul Alayhim Ajmain knew that they are not only human beings come to Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He was not the prophets of human beings only, but the prophets of Malaika, the prophets of Jinnat, the prophets of heavens and earth, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to lesser more effect, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam responded. He said that I moved because there is certain right for the believer which he has, that he should be respected and he should be welcomed. So I moved for you, although there is empty place around the masjid, but just to make you happy and comfortable, even more welcoming, that I am registering your presence here. So just to make you feel comfortable and happy, I moved, although there was a lot of space around. So imagine this is the behavior of a Nabi with the Ummati, a Prophet with a follower, a Rasul, a messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with one of the normal people of their times. So it gives us a lot of lesson that how we should appreciate, and we should give not place only, but in whatever way we think we can make the other comfortable, the other more, the presence more enjoyable in any way, be it moving, be it giving them preference, bringing them water or anything one should do. This was the action, this was the behavior of the Anbiya alayhimus salam and Salihin. And in regards to human beings, They did not differentiate even in kuffar or Muslims or rich or poor. All have certain rights. All have certain rights, and they should be fulfilled. And that is how they mainly spread the teachings of Islam. Because when people saw that their worldly problems and injustices and worldly concerns are addressed, then their hearts were inclined towards those teachings and towards those personalities who were giving that. And if their worldly concerns are not addressed, they are made uncomfortable, they are not honored, they are not helped, then they come in this mindset that if these people cannot help us in dunya, they don't want to make comfortable, they don't want to help us with whatever they have in this world, how if they can't share dunya a little bit time and little bit money and comfort they have, how could they share with us the heavenly kingdom, the Jannah? It is not actually understandable. So that is why we always mention, we by we means the mashayikh, awliya, sulaha. They say we always mention that verbal and da'wah with words is not very much effective. Giving an example is not very much effective, but becoming an example is effective, and the da'wah with action is effective. And that is why you see the Anbiya alayhimus salam and Awliya Salihin, they spoke less, but they had impact on a very huge scale. And now we have all these books and speeches and things are going on through the internet and Facebook and other things, but people's situation and condition is not improving because they're all giving examples to each other. One person sends the message to other, be good. The other person sends the message to other, be good. That person was good. That wali did this. That person did this. So they end up giving examples of each other and others, but not actually becoming an example. So in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life, we find that, and this should be our character and behavior with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even with non-Muslims, more rather, because they more need actually to see the prophetic behavior. In the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a family living, a mother, a lone mother, a widow, who even did not have enough money or any wealth to buy new clothes for herself. And her existing clothes were as though torn. Now they were not in a position that she could go out in them. So it was a time of, the Jahiliyyah time was close by, and it was, people were not so considerate towards widows and orphans and the weak in the society. So she had a son, 10, 12-year son, and she said, go to your uncle, because obviously they will resort to their family. Go to your uncle and ask him for some money or some cloth which I can wear, a suit, I can wear some clothes. He went to his uncle, the nephew, meaning that was her husband's brother. So the son goes to his uncle and says that my mother needs this and this. And he said, I don't have sufficient for myself as well, or I don't want to give you anything. Well, whatever, but he did not give anything. So the son began to cry, and someone asked him on the way, why are you crying? Have you fallen or anything? He said, no, I went to my family to ask for some clothes, and they did not, and my mother needs clothes. And she had no one else to go to. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even in the time when there was Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam had not come on the face of the earth with Quran, even when the Quran was not revealed, when no hukm of Sharia had been revealed, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had not announced the prophethood. Time, Prophet ﷺ formed an organization. It was called Hilful Fudul. It was an organization he set up with the help of Meccan people. There was no Quran, there was no Sharia, there was no prophet teachings yet. But at that time, Prophet ﷺ lived up to 40 years, as you know, before the announcement. What he did was he formed an organization in Makkah al-Mukarramah. It was called Hilful Fudul. And what that organization was, a welfare organization that who helped the needy, who helped the orphans, who helped the weak people if someone is wrong. So people got together where we are going to help these weak people if there's no one to support them, etc. It was a matter time of Jahiliyyah, meaning there was no such teachings there. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had formed this organization to help people. So this gives us a lesson that before giving the message of Islam, we should show that we care for them, their worldly matters and their welfare, and to help them. Message of Islam came after. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he brought the message of Islam to Sayyidah Khadijat al-Kubra on the first day of revelation, and Prophet ﷺ worried how these people will accept my message and how they might abandon me, etc. Sayyidah Khadijat al-Kubra radiyallahu ta'ala anha said, if they even abandon you, Allah will never abandon you, because you always look after the weak, you always look after the poor and the needy and orphan and widows. You join ties with those relatives even though they break ties with you. So Sayyidah Khadijat al-Kubra said that this type of person Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never leaves alone. He'll always be helping you. So this means that we could see the reflection that what did the Prophet of Islam do at that time when there was no Quran, in these 40 years, what he used to do. That is why he was known as very trustworthy, the Amin and the Sadiq. But anyway, purpose is just to give you some glance that it was known. So when the person who asked this child, that why you crying, he said, I don't have clothes for my mother, doesn't have any clothes to wear. He said, why not ask the person known as Muhammad. At that time, Rasulullah had actually announcement that why don't you ask him if you find him? He does help the needy people. So the child went to the mother and said to the mother, oh mother, that my uncle, our family have not given us anything, but one person told me there is a person called Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he might help you. She said, oh, my son, I know this person says, I am prophet of Allah, and whoever goes to him, he becomes impressed and he leaves the deen of his forefathers, his fathers and grandfathers and things. And I don't want to leave the deen of your forefather, your father and grandfather. So this is the case. He might ask you to leave your deen, and he might help you, but give you, and you would leave deen. And we don't want to abandon this deen, which we are in. The mushrikeen used to worship idols and other things. So he said, anyway, I will go and I will make this clear to him that I'm not going to abandon deen. He said, okay. So he went, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was resting at that time in Haram of Makkatul Mukarramah, and sitting alone at that time in Kaaba, near the Kaaba Sharif. He went, and someone pointed that this is the person called Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is the person you need to speak to. So he went and he said, uncle, I need some help for my mother's clothes, but one thing I shall make very clear to you, that I'm not going to change my deen. I'm not going to change my religion. I don't want to hear anything about the religion. If you can help me, good and well. If not, then actually I don't want to actually accept anything. My mother has informed me that you change people's religion. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sitting in Kaaba, in near the Kaaba Sharif, listening to this child, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam smiled at him and said, my son, you have said this, but have I mentioned to you that you should change your deen, that you will leave and abandon and you should accept me? Have I said to you? He said, no. He said, then actually you don't need to worry about that. Yes, clothing you can take. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself did not have at that time any, because he always used to give. Well, he only had his own Chadar Sharif, on own mantle he had only on him. He gave him that. And it used to be very good quality and expensive, because that was the tradition people wore at that time. It was one of the main components of dress. So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave his own Chadar Sharif actually, and said, you can take this. And he didn't mention anything regarding deen or whatever Islam or I am the Prophet of Allah or anything. He went back and said to his mother that I mentioned, I was very clear with the person that I'm not going to change my deen or my mother's deen. So, but he still gave us this actually and some money. The mother said, son, it seems that we should follow this person's deen. So firstly, she said, do not follow and do not go, because they have never interacted, they had never actually heard, but only heard from people, hearsay things, actually the things. But now when they saw the behavior, the conduct actually, that changed the heart. So though both mother and son came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and actually said the Shahada and thing. And this was not even one word, not even the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was mentioned, and the life and the beliefs and the deen of these two persons, the mother and the child, were changed. So now we are doing the opposite thing. We backbite people, we harm people, hurt people, killing people on the name of religion, and then expecting actually people to come toward them. They are not expecting, but rather these are enemies of Islam who on the name of Islam are causing chaos, because they thought that this religion will dominate by its teaching, that its character. So many munafiqeen in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also now up to the day of judgment, will pose very religious people, but behavior there will be shaitanic. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that who are these people, why are they shaitanic, and how can they be exposed? And he said that my follower, a Muslim, everyone from his hands, from his tongue, others are safe from him. That is the sign. That's why he didn't say, my follower is who have beard, my follower is who actually pray 5 times, because anyone can actually emulate these things actually. But he mentioned the essence of deen actually, that al-Muslim, a Muslim is a follower of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A Muslim, that my follower is the one, man salima, that from whom's tongue, meaning he doesn't speak ill, anything like this, or with his whole body, hands represent whole body, he doesn't harm anyone with this. Everyone feels safe from him. And if you just apply this formula, you can see which people are representing the true Islam, the real Islam, the Islam of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and which people are causing chaos. Yesterday I was mentioning to you in the marriage ceremony, walima ceremony, that when, because we went to Masjid al-Aqsa recently, that when these people from here and others, they were possessing the Masjid al-Aqsa and the Jerusalem and things, there came a time that these people killed innocent people. The Crusaders, they killed innocent people, old, young, in thousands and thousands and thousand number, women, children. But when Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, rahimahullah ta'ala, when he took the Jerusalem and Masjid al-Aqsa back, he did not actually harm one person, one non-Muslim even, although the Jewish and the Christian were living there. And when they took there was a blood in the streets were filled with blood, and thousands people were killed. And so this shows not in the history, but actually outwardly the action of the follower. Even the concept of jihad is not actually killing people for actually because they are from other religion or they disagree with you. The concept of jihad is to protect humanity and Islam and the eternal message. So if that is to protect, so Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi didn't kill anyone. And look what Daesh is doing, what Al-Qaeda are doing. Rather than actually let aside non-Muslim, they're killing Muslims and representing Islam. So all these people are in line coming from the Khawarij from the first day, from the time of Sayyidina Ali Karramallahu Wajhul Kareem, who started killing Muslims and others. And up to now, they are doing. And the real Mujahid was Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, who did not touch one non-combat or any person living there after his victory. He forgave them. That is why the commander or the general of army, Richard the Lionheart, whose statue is there in London near the parliament somewhere, he came back. He said, I cannot fight this person. I don't have the moral ground to fight this person, Salahuddin Ayyubi. He's such an even enemy. You knew that he was so powerful, but at the same time, he was so compassionate. Because becoming with good morals and being nice, when you're weak, that doesn't mean much anything. But when you are powerful, when you can take revenge, when you can fight, when you can actually overwhelm, at that time to show restraint. So that is why when this Richard, the great commander of here and of UK at that time, who went there, when his horse was injured and wounded, Salahuddin Ayyubi sent one of his horses actually. And that was to fight him back really. But he said, it is not good that he has a wounded horse. He should not. And these people who are attacking Muslims, non-Muslims from the back, killing here, exploding bombs here, who have nothing to do with anything, or how can they be any? They are so far, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the hadith, that they are so far from Islam as heavens is from earth. Far from. And Salahuddin Ayyubi also, when he became ill, the commander of the enemy, he sent his personal doctors to treat them and to cure them. So on these two incidents and some others, without fighting, this commander came back. He said, I cannot fight this man. Not that he could not fight, it was that he was so impressed and overwhelmed by the character and conduct of this person. And you should all know that this conduct does not come from books only and all this came for personalities. He was a Sufi himself, followers of Sufia, two great Sufia, one Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani because he lived in his time and he followed his teaching, especially his son Abdul Aziz bin Abdul Qadir Jilani was a disciple of him, and also the great Khalifa Sheikh Muwaffiquddin ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi was also Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah representative, and he kept him with. And almost all, more than 50% of his army were the followers, the Sufia of Huzur Ghaus Pak Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani and Imam al-Ghazali, who lived in those times as well. तो ये जो कहते हैं ये हो गया सुल्तान सलाह जिहाद सीखना है तो इन लोगों से सीखें, और जो कहते हैं हम फतह करें, ये दूसरों ने तो फितना फसाद और मुसलमानों के लिए मुश्किलात बढ़ाई हैं, ये वो हस्तियां हैं कि आज भी काफिर भी उनको मानते हैं कि भाई ये सही मुजाहिद थे, लड़ते थे तो सही बहादुरी से लड़ते थे और जंग भी करते, सुलह भी करते थे तो सही तरीके से, और किसी बीच बंदे को नुकसान देना इनके खाते में जब गलबा मिला तो माफ़ कर दिया। और ये औलिया अल्लाह की तरबियत का, सूफिया की तरबियत का असर, दिस वाज द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ, बिकॉज इज द मंथ ऑफ हजूर गौस पाक सैयदना अब्दुल कादिर जिलानी, सो इट इज़ अप्रोप्रिएट टू मेंशन कि ये आपका फैज़ और आपकी तरबियत थी जो सुल्तान सलाहुद्दीन अयूबी में चल रही थी, और इमाम गज़ाली की तरबियत थी। वो खुद भी इतना बड़ा वली बना कि बादशाह होकर, हमारे थोड़े से पैसे होते हैं हमारी सिचुएशन चेंज हो जाती है, वी हैव लिटिल मनी, 1 million 2 million, we become a completely different person, or this person is ruler of many countries, and when he dies there is not enough cloth to cover his coffin, to make his coffin from his personal property. Imagine, can you imagine that? A king is dying. He fought all his life, actually 30 years as a mujahid, and did not die in the battlefield. And he mentioned that those people who are cowards, who fear this is going to happen, that wherever death is going to come, it's going to come. If you are destined to die in battlefield, you will die there. If not, then even though you can spend all your years there, and you will die. Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu also like this. So when he passed away, there was nothing in his property to buy coffin. So they announced that, is there anyone who can borrow some cloth or buy some cloth to give coffin to the king? And someone else gave that money, and he was buried in that. So this is the tarbiyah of tazkiyah. This is the influence of tazkiyah and ihsan directly from these great spiritual leaders like Imam Abu Hamid Muhammad al-Ghazali and Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani Ghoso. ये ऐसे नहीं इन लोगों के नाम अभी तक लिए जाते जो है, इतने बड़े हस्तियाँ इन्होंने जो इनकी तरबियत याफ्ता हो के इतने बड़े काम किए। So mashallah, this is Iman. So I would like to share some of his teachings with you today as a blessing we can take. But remember, जो हुजूर अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम ने जो भी मैंने आपको बताया कि वो औरत जिसके पास कपड़ा नहीं तन ढांकने के लिए, वो अपने बेटे को चचा के पास बेचती है, चचा उसको कह देता है कि नहीं है कपड़े, वो कोई बताता है कि एक हस्ती है जिनका नाम सैयदना मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम है, सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, उनके पास जाएं। माँ कहती है बेटा वो तो तुम्हारा दीन बदल देंगे, हम दीन नहीं बदलना चाहते, तुम जाओ दीन ना बदलना। अगर उन्होंने इसलिए मदद की, बेटा जाता है, कहता है चचा जान हजूर अलैहिस्सलाम को, कहता आपकी उम्र उस वक़्त 42-43 साल थी, तो उमर मुबारक चचा जान ये बात है, मैंने दीन नहीं बदलना। तो आप अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया बेटा ना दीन बदलना, मैंने तुम्हें कहा है दीन बदलो, ये आपने अपनी चादर दे दी। फरमाया जाओ, ये अपनी वालदा को कुछ पैसे दिए, फरमाया जाओ ले जाओ मत कर। जब ले के आया तो माँ ने कहा बेटा उन्होंने ये तो नहीं कहा दीन बदलना। हाँ नहीं मजा, उन्होंने तो कुछ नहीं कहा, उन्होंने तो ये दिया। वो खुद का नहीं, बेटा ऐसे शख्स के दीन पर तो चलना चाहिए जो इतना अच्छा हो, जिसका किरदार ये हो, तो वो दोनों मुसलमान। तो इस्लाम अगर फैलेगा यहाँ कहीं भी, तो ये तलवार से, बम्बों से और मतलब ये इस तरह की चीज़ों से नहीं फैलता, ये इसी से अपनी असल तालीमात से फैलता है. एंड हाउ यू गेट दोज टीचिंग is through awliya sulaha, following them actually, because these are the personalities who. So one of the sayings of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani in the presentation I'm going to show you. ये लाइट बंद कर दीजिए तो कि नजर आए से, ये भी बंद कर. हाँ, बिस्मिल्लाह. ये आप ही की तालीमात हैं. इन फतह रब्बानी Hazur Ghaus Pak Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani has mentioned this, and it has just been put in a presentation form so that it becomes easier. He gave an example once, but before that, Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, because everyone seemed to be worried about that we die with Iman, we die with Iman. हर एक को इसकी फिक्र है कि हमारा खात्मा ईमान के साथ हो. हर बंदा कहता है या अल्लाह कलमे वाली मौत देना. तो इमाम अबू हनीफा ने फरमाया कि 3 चीज़ें बंदे के बुरे खात्मे का सबब बन जाती हैं, उनसे बचो. Our Imam, the great Imam, Imam Azam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that there are 3 things which pose danger of actually depriving you from Iman at the time of death. Number 1, he said that a person who does not thank Allah that He has blessed him with Iman. Usually sometimes we forget. We thank anyone who gives us a cup of water or a phone or anything. But the being who has given us Iman, has there been 24 hours? That in 24 hours हम 2 नफल ही पढ़ लें शुक्राने के कि या अल्लाह तूने हमें ईमान बख्शा, इस नेमत पर तेरा शुक्र अदा करते हैं. Oh Allah, you have blessed us with Iman, we thank you. Just praying 2 units of shukr whenever you, for example, can. Or just sitting and thinking and thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, I did not ask for Iman. I did not give any application that you should bless me with Iman. I was in the world of spirits. I was in the womb of mother. Without me asking, you gave me such a great blessing, and I thank you. So a person should do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon Iman frequently. At least every day, agar और कुछ नहीं तो 2 नफल पढ़ ले या अल्लाह का शुक्र अदा करे. And because the Quran says, La in shakartum la azidannakum. If you be thankful on any blessing, Allah will increase that. कुरान का ये वादा है, ला इन शकरतुम ला अज़ीदन्नकुम, कि अगर तुम शुक्र करोगे किसी नेमत पर तो मैं उस नेमत को बढ़ाऊंगा. तो अगर बंदा ईमान पर शुक्र करेगा तो उसका ईमान बढ़ता रहेगा, मौत तक बढ़ता रहेगा, कम नहीं होगा. तो ये इमाम अबू हनीफा ने फॉर्मूला बताया कि एक चीज़ तो ये करो और ना शुक्री ना करो. वला इन कफरतुम इन अज़ाबी लशदीद. अल्लाह पाक ने फरमाया अगर नेमत की ना शुक्री करोगे, you will not be thankful, you will just take it for granted and will forget and will take just that you deserve it anyway and be unattentive and ingratitude. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, wala in kafartum, if you will be unthankful, inna azabi, then my punishment is severe. And Allah knows that what type of punishment Allah will give that person. It can be depriving of Iman sometimes. Number 2, Imam Abu Hanifa Nu'man ibn Thabit rahimahullah ta'ala said that not to perform the faraiz, कि फ़र्ज जो हैं, फ़राइज़ जो हैं, ज़कात हो, फ़र्ज चीज़ें जो है, हज हो, फ़राइज़ नमाज हैं, फास्टिंग है, जो फ़राइज़ है, your duty towards your parents, and तो फ़र्ज जितनी है इबादतें ख़ास तौर पर उनको अदा न करना, that becomes a means to going towards कुफ्र sometimes. तो इसलिए जो है फ़राइज़ और कुछ ना करे, लेकिन फ़राइज़ is your last protection and barrier actually before your iman will be in danger. फ़र्ज चीज़ें ना छोड़े. अगर नमाज भी कज़ा होने लगी, कज़ा तो तसव्वुर ही नहीं है. There is no concept of कज़ा in Islam. ये लोग कहते हैं कि मैं जॉब पे गया था, घर में कज़ा करके पढ़ लेता हूँ, इसको अपना ही दीन बनाया हो. देयर इज नो कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कज़ा इन इस्लाम दैट यू कैन डू कज़ा हियर देयर. Let me tell you, imagine if there was any, you may say, any flexibility to do qaza. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, when you are in the war battle, in a battlefield में क्या होता है? People are fighting, people are sitting on horsebacks, imagine. They can't even get down sometimes. You know, in the battlefield, like a battle in the time of Rasulullah, battle of Uhud, battle of Khandaq, battle of, and even Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, when he actually took part in many, many battles. उस वक़्त जब when a human being, a Muslim, is on the verge of giving his life, arrows are coming, people are being killed, and you come for Allah's sake, the Quran said, even in that state, you are not allowed to miss the fard prayer. Even though you are on the horsebacks, and still the horse is moving and your face is not towards Qibla, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said at that time even you must actually pray the fard prayer, even on the horseback, whilst fighting, whilst moving, whilst going. There is a flexibility, there is for to do there are certain rules which are eased, which are relaxed, but there is no. When Huzur alayhi salam ने ऐसे ही जंगे बदर ओहद में ऐसे हुआ, कहीं भी जंगे हुनैन, and Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi rahimahullah ta'ala, when he took part in long battle, many years the battle too, but even in the midst of battles नमाज नहीं छोड़ने की जा, उन्होंने फर्ज नहीं छोड़ा, क्योंकि मकसद तो दुनिया में जिहाद का भी, हर चीज़ का अल्लाह को खुश करना है, अल्लाह की इबादत है. वो अल्लाह की इबादत रह गई तो फिर जो है वो क्या मकसद रहा, ज़िंदगी ही ख़त्म हो गया. तो वो भी चंद मिनट होता है, जैसे सफ़र में 2 रकातें पढ़ते हैं वगैरह वगैरह. सो देयर इज़ फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी ऑन दैट यू कैन रीड फ़राइज़ ओनली, और इवन शॉर्टन दैट बाय 2 रकात इन सफ़र. लेकिन जो है अगर बैटल फील्ड में ड्यूरिंग फाइट इट इज़ नॉट, then I am doing work, I am doing this, I am busy and things, etc. Because Allah, remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not sent you to do other things, but really you've been sent actually to please Allah by actually submitting to Him and worshipping Him. Anyway, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that this is to miss the fries, you are in danger of losing Iman. Third thing he said, wrongful injustice or bad ill treatments towards the creation people, meaning doing zulm upon people, animals. देखे ना, एक बिल्ली पर जुल्म करने की वजह से एक औरत जहन्नम में चली गई. One woman was thrown in hellfire because of mistreating a cat. So what do you think about people? What do you think about human beings? So Imam Abu Hanifa said that this is also become, if you are confiscating properties of others, defrauding others, or torturing others somehow, putting allegations on people, or just looting their money in some sinister way or whatever, cunning them, doing zulm upon them, zulm after zulm upon the poor, upon these very simple people, then he said you are in danger of losing Iman. लोगों के साथ, मखलूक के साथ ज़्यादती करना, ये बाज़ दफ़ा बंदे का ईमान हो सकता है कि वो अल्लाह पाक सज़ा के तौर पर उस ईमान से बंदा महरूम हो जाए. इसलिए जुल्म नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि हुज़ूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया, मन आज़ा मुस्लिमन फ़क़द आज़ानी, whoever will harm or hurt any Muslim man or woman. मदीने में वो रह रहे थे उस वक़्त, तो फरमाया कि that person have really hurt me and harmed me. وَمَنْ آزَانِي فَقَدْ أَزَلَّ, and whoever harms me, hurts me, is as though he's displeased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one can understand if a person is harming Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Iman, where will the Iman go? And harming the Ummah is indirectly harming people, torturing people, doing zulm upon people, is indirectly harming the Prophet ﷺ, because he said they are very dear to me. So you don't become a kafir, but it is possible that as a result, as a punishment, you can. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can deprive you as a punishment. Because sometimes doing good with the creation, being good with the people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes rewards in a way that He blesses you with Iman. There's a story in the books of Sirah that one person became Muslim, and he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when I was not a Muslim, but in the state of Jahiliyyah, in the state of when there was ignorance, people used to bury their children, young ones, actually, girls especially, alive. And I used to go in that ground every day when the time came, when the time evening or wherever they used to come. And I would say, give it to me. Some would give it to me. Some would say, it's our girl, why we should give it to you? And I would offer them some payment, offer them some money. And they will give me. I would buy them, bring them up. I saved 300 girls like this. उस सहाबी ने उस वक़्त जो मुसलमान हो गए थे उस वक़्त, तो उस फरमाया कि या रसूल सल्लम, आलम कुफर में जब मैं जहालत की ज़िंदगी गुजारा तो उस वक़्त भी मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जहाँ ये मुशरिकीन अपने बच्चियों को ज़िंदा दफन करते थे, तो मैं शाम को चला जाता और जो आता उससे मैं उस बच्ची ले लेता, और अगर वो ना देता तो मैं उसको पैसे ऑफ़र करता कि इतने पैसे ले लो, मुझे ये बच्ची दे दो। तो वो मुझे बच्ची दे, किसी को मैंने 100 पाउंड में लिया, किसी को 500 दिरहम में, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वट एवर मनी ही कुड अफोर्ड। और मैंने इस तरह 300 बच्चियों को बचा के उनको फिर जो है बड़ा करके उनकी शादियाँ की हैं। He said, I have saved 300 girls from being buried alive, and I brought them up and married them and brought them up and things. Will I get any reward for that act? Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Prophet of Allah, may Allah bless you. Will I get any reward because I was a disbeliever and kafir at that time? वो पूछ रहा है कि या रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, मैं उस वक्त काफिर था, क्या मुझे उसका कुछ अजर मिलेगा? वो जो मैंने 300 बच्चियों को बचाया है, क्या अजर मिलेगा मुझे कुछ? इमेजिन वो काफिर होकर 300 दूसरों की बच्चियों को पाल रहे। हमारे यहाँ ये कितनी बुरी आदत, बुरी मेंटालिटी जहन है आज भी हिंदुस्तान, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश और कई मुल्कों में, कि बच्ची हो जाए तो वो खुशी का इजहार नहीं करते। When a baby girl is born, still people are of that mentality of Abu Jahl, वो अभी भी आ रही है। They don't kill, but they kill their pleasure. वो खुशी नहीं, खुशी को मार देते। बच्ची को तो नहीं मारते, खुशी को, बच्चा हो जाए बड़ा खुश। हालांकि बच्चियों ज़्यादा फ़ायदा देंगी क़यामत वाले दिन भी और दुनिया में भी आपको। Because Prophet ﷺ never said about any child, any male child, but he said whoever will bring and nourish 3 girls, 3 daughters, or in one hadith 2 daughters, and will do good tarbiyah and will marry them off, he and that person, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I and that person will be so close on the day of judgment like this. तो ये बच्चियां शफात करती हैं, क़यामत वाले दिन भी ये शफात करेंगी और ये बनेंगी, और दुनिया में भी रहमत का सबब बनती हैं बहुत सारे मामलात में। बिकॉज क्योंकि जितना आप उन पे खर्च करते हैं वो सदक़े से भी ज़्यादा सवाब है उसका। The money which you spend on her, any daughter, is your own daughter. You are paying her fees, you are doing this, you are doing the £1 you've given to an orphan, £1 you were given to a poor widow, £1 you were given to a very poor person, but the reward of that £1 which you spent on your daughter will outweigh reward of all other actually spent money in the way of Allah subhanahu. तो ये तो मुफ्त का सवाब लेने वाली बात है। अपनी बेटी है, खुद खर्च करना है, जो भी आपने देना है वो सदका खैरात से भी ज़्यादा अजर व सवाब बंदे को मिलता है। लेकिन हमारी ये मेंटालिटी अभी भी इसी तरह है। बच्चे हों तो मिठाइयाँ तकसीम हो रही हैं, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, और बच्ची हो तो वो कुछ नहीं। कहते जी अल्लाह की मर्जी, अब क्या करें। It's as though they are actually mourning. These all will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We didn't want it. Maybe it was we didn't want it, but Allah wanted to give. He has given us, so we have to take it now. तो ये चीज़ नहीं, वो काफिर से सबक लें। उस सहाबी जो बाद में बन गए कि 300 दूसरों की बच्चियां भी उन्होंने पाले, और अल्लाह ने रिज्क उनको इतना वसी दिया। बिकॉज यू सी एवरी पर्सन हैव देयर ओन रिज्क। तो अगर 2 बंदे हों तो आपको 2 बंदों का रिज्क मिलेगा। 3 बंदे, 3 people, you get the risk of 3 people which Allah has destined for them. सारा आपके घर आएगा, आपके खाते में आएगा। For other people it's very difficult to explain, but here it's very easy. Child benefit, tax credit. वो जितने बच्चे हों तो आपको रिस्क आएगा ना आपके अकाउंट में। If you have 5 children, your tax credit will come into your account, your wife's account. Or if you have more child, then you have more child. So similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined risk for every child. If that child or any children, they come into your house, daughters, whatever, all that risk is going to come into your account. ये आपको सारा रिस्क उनका मिलेगा कि भाई ये इसमें खर्च करना है। तो इसलिए इसे नहीं डरना मैंने क्या करना कि मैं कैसे हो, बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा। नहीं, बच्चा बाद में पैदा होता है, अल्लाह पाक उसका रिस्क पहले भेजता है, लिख देता है, इट्स गिवन बिफोर। तो वो पहले वो यानी माँ के पेट में होता है तो उसका रिस्क लिखा जाता है, हाउ मच रिस्क अल्लाह ही विल बी गिवन। तो हमें फिक्र नहीं करनी, हम समझते हैं वो हमारा नहीं है। व्हेन दे गो अवे you will see that those people, their risk will also decrease as well. तो ये चीज़ होती है। Anyway, carrying on with the story, I was saying that wrongful treatments of the creation people sometimes deprives you of Iman. This person being a kafir, he helped 300 daughters, saved 300 lives of innocent girls who the mushrikeen used to kill. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, will I get any reward? Prophet al-Islam said, as though I'm saying it my own words for explanation, is this Iman which you have is not sufficient reward for it? Meaning the Prophet al-Islam said, you are bringing Iman is reward of helping those 300 souls. कि वो काफिर था, आप अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया कि क्या तुम्हारा ये ईमान जो मिल गया है तुम्हें, ये काफ़ी अजर नहीं है वो 300 बच्चियों को बचाने का? उसके बदले अल्लाह ने तुम्हें ईमान दिया है, अपने आखिरी नबी की ज़ियारत दी है, अपने आखिरी नबी का सहाबी बनाया है और उसकी सोहबत अता की है। ये उन 300 बच्चियों की मदद का नतीजा। So what Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala said is 100% true, that wrongful zulm and being bad and actually unjust with the creation of Allah can deprive you of Iman, and being good with the creation will increase. But rather, if a person is a disbeliever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might bestow Iman upon you. तो इस तरह की है चीज़ें। Inshallah, I was intending to go through some of the teachings, but actually the time has expired now. I will just say a few words of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani and then we finish. In one of the khutbahs, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmahullah, ये जला दे लाइट हम, एक खुतबे में, एक तकरीर में हज़ूर गौस पाक शेख अब्दुल कादिर जिलानी ने फरमाया, This life is a race to pleasure of Allah. फरमाया ये ज़िंदगी एक दौड़ है, रेस देखिए ना, like in Olympic there is race, marathon, sprint, different kinds of races. तो फरमाया कि जिस तरह इस ज़िंदगी में रेस होती है, this life itself is a race to the pleasure of Allah. To pass the line before death is what should be your objective. So he said, pass the line, meaning the banner, pleasure of Allah is there, and this life you've been put, once you've been born, now you have to run and reach the banner of the pleasure of Allah, reach the finishing line before death, and you are successful. People have made their objectives other means, and their finish lines have become material of dunya. He said the people have made their own finishing lines. Imagine if there is a race from, let's say, from Oldham to Manchester, and whoever gets to Manchester, he will win. And one has made, no, my race will finish in Ashton. I'm winner there. The other one say, I'm winner down the road. They made their own finishing line that they're not going to win anything. They're all going to lose. Only the one who will win will reach Manchester. So similarly, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah saying, the finishing line is the pleasure of Allah, rida of Allah, the worship of Allah, being a good servant of Allah. And you made your finishing line, when I get this car, I'll be the luckiest person of the world. When I marry this woman, I'll be the luckiest person in the world. When I do this, I'll be luckiest person. This is all materialistic, self-made lines which you will get nothing. Car, for example, let's say you have the most luxury car. It can give you comfort, it has many things. But it can never give you happiness and peace. Because it is a material object. How? Let's say I'm sitting in my car, it's the most expensive car in my whole of the world, made of gold, diamond, whatever. There I received a phone call. Oh, your son has actually his leg has been broken in an accident, or your mother has actually suffered this or whatever. You receive one call, still, so you're sitting in the diamond car, will that give you happiness? The comfort is still there. कार तो वही है, वो सारे उसके सिस्टम भी वही हैं, लेकिन एक फोन कॉल ने आपको सारी खत्म हो गई हर चीज. Now it's as though you don't know where you are sitting on a donkey or a car, doesn't make any difference. आप अपने बोलते हो क्या हो गया, वो जल्दी पहुंचो, ये करो. मिसाल दे रहा हूँ, I'm giving you an example. कि that अब कहो ना कार को आपको खुशी दे, नहीं दे सकती. अब सुनो गाने उस लगा के नहीं दे सकती. आपकी सो जब आपका बेटा मर गया, आपकी बेटी को ये हुआ, कोई भी खबर आ जाती है, कारोबार में नुकसान हो गया, whatever, anything can happen in this world. So where is the happiness? Comfort हो, वो comfort भी खत्म हो जाता है. So being in a comfortable position, you are still very sad and filled with grief. Similarly, so comfort, happiness is to do with your inner self. It's not in the, don't find it out somewhere. So similarly, when you are sitting even on a patch with patched clothes on a donkey, you can be the world's happiest person because if you have the inner happiness. आप सबसे ज़्यादा खुश बंदे हो सकते हैं वहाँ भी बैठ के. And whoever will rely on the outer world for happiness, he will fail soon after and time after time. जब तक आप चीज़ों पे भरोसा करेंगे, ये गाड़ी मुझे मिल जाए, ये सोना मुझे मिल जाए, this thing I got, that's how many millions I got. Until you depend on these things about happiness, you will never achieve. Until you point toward your inner self actually, and you don't depend on anything, it is in you. So then actually, you are happy wherever you are. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Anbiya alayhi salam, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Awliya Allah, बाज़ दफ़ा टाट पे, बाज़ दफ़ा बोरिए पे बैठे थे, लेकिन उनके अंदर सुकून, रहमत के दरिया बह रहे थे. So anyway, that's what he's saying. He said, people have made their objectives other means and the finish lines have become materials of dunya. They have made it into a rat race of dunya, crushing and destroying people's lives. Rat race में क्या होता है, कोई पता ही कौन कहाँ जा रहा है, तो इसलिए इसको मारो, इसको काटो. Harm, this person's harm doesn't matter. I am in a race. I have to actually go there. I have to get my money. No matter I can defraud other pensioners. I get to have this. No matter I can harm the. So Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, rahimahullah, is saying actually that you become a rat race, blind, running here and there. Actually, when we were created in the world of spirits, Allah informed us of our objective and non-objective, to worship Him and not to follow the devil and his ways. फरमाया कि आलम अरवाह में ही अल्लाह पाक ने हमें बता दिया था कि तुम्हारा मकसद क्या है ज़िंदगी का, कि मेरी यानी अल्लाह की इबादत और शैतान के पीछे न चलना. Then Allah sent us all a guide through the prophets and messengers who were examples of those who have successfully won the race to the pleasure of Allah. Then when we came into dunya, Allah Azza wa Jal sent us guides, meaning the prophets and messengers who are successful to achieve the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have become our examples. They have left their teachings and footsteps and trained those who have followed and succeeded in the race to the pleasure of Allah. Who are they? Now they have become the awliya, who are the trainers and the mentors for others. When these prophets and messengers came, they trained, then they trained their students. And now, although you are not living in the time of Anbiya and Rasul, we are in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but physically he's departed. He said, now they are representatives of the awliya Allah. And then he carries on actually giving a khutbah, mashallah. His teachings are, mashallah, timeless, very powerful, and a guide. And this teaching, this course, this program of Tariqah Muhammadiyah, the course of purification, the program of tazkiyah of body, mind, heart, soul, which we teach in these centers, these are the real product of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani's teachings, that how you and me can attain that as well. Otherwise, we will finish somewhere within our own line and die there, and that is not success. Allah Pak, mujhe bhi, aapko bhi samajh aur amal ki tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable me and you to understand and implement and to transfer these teachings to others and our generations before we pass away from this world.
MashaAllah. Now, brothers, the ball is in our court. If one would like to adopt that prophetic character, to do dawah practically and to follow the teachings that we have heard today, then the course of self-purification, as mentioned, is taught at these centers. So for 10 to 15 minutes, a brother will sit here, Brother Ustad Shamshed will sit and go through these teachings and how and what the steps are and how you can build your Iman gradually and inshallah finish at the finishing line before death even, inshallah. So if anyone would like to know about this course, then please come forward at the end and brother will sit here and then you will go through the course. And so for more announcements as well. As you know, the teacher, they are about to embark on the journey of dawah to Pakistan. And if anyone would like to follow the teacher and what the programs they are doing, then you may go onto their Facebook page, which is Sheikh Ahmad Dabagh, and then that will give you updates as to the activities, and then you can invite your relatives as well in Pakistan to attend those events and benefit from them. And also, there will be more dawah tours that will take place in Europe. So, for example, a trip has just arrived from Italy, and before that was Spain. But there will be also in France, brothers will be going to France for 2 weeks or so in February, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and other various places. So if anyone would like to go on these events, these dawah trips, then please give your name to Brother Gulfam, and he will take your names and interest, and inshallah we will contact you. And for those who cannot maybe go internationally, then nationally there are always dawah trips that are taking place. For example, in Bolton, brothers are about to organize 24-hour dawah camps, where brothers for maybe who are busy during the weekday or weekends, they can attend one of these evenings and convey the message locally. And if a person cannot do this, then do not despair. There are other ways and opportunities to help people as well. You can sponsor people to go, and if you cannot sponsor a person, then there are books and materials that are always required for these trips, and then you will also get reward for the dawah and the deen work that is done throughout this world. And imagine how many people will benefit and follow this course, then you will also be part of that. And finally, every week there is a Bangla Tariqah Muhammadiyah Majlis which takes place every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. in Oldham at the Intelligence Academy on Featherstone Road. So brothers are requested to come. And finally, if anyone would like to see Ustad Uthman regarding any spiritual related inquiries, then please see him at the end of the program. Jazakallah khair. Now inshallah there will be the Dhikr Majlis, and I will just remind and give you some etiquettes and adab so that we can benefit more. If all the brothers would like to please stand up first of all, just stretch your legs so the more comfort for your legs. So the lights will be turned off to help you concentrate, and while the teacher is reciting and doing dhikr, Please make sure that you do not shout out in front of them or go ahead of them, but stay with them and focus now and bring the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He's watching you, He's with you, and He's listening to you. And this is now an opportunity for us to communicate with Allah. You can speak to Him regarding your worldly problems and also regarding your akhirah problems. So this is not just about deen. Yes, now brothers, you can sit down, please. Sorry, I forgot that. You can sit down now. MashaAllah. Yes. So you... Okay. Okay. Gee. And just to remind, after the Dhikr majlis, the teacher will stay for a short period, and anyone would like to do mulaqat and meet them, then there will be an opportunity to give salam, to meet the teacher, inshallah. This will be very, very briefly. And if anyone would like to see them just for a few minutes or so, you may also do so. Just a few minutes. Jazakallah khair.
Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. وقال عز وجل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته، هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته، لكل هول من الأهوال مقتحم، لكل هول من الأهوال مقتحم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. والله الذي لا إله إلا هو، هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو، هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. عالم الغيب والشهادة، عالم الغيب والشهادة، عالم الغيب والشهادة، عالم الغيب والشهادة، هو الرحمن الرحيم، 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 هو الرحمن. والله الذي لا إله إلا هو، هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو، هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو، هو الله الذي لا الملك القدوس السلام، الملك القدوس السلام، الملك القدوس السلام، الملك القدوس السلام، المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار، المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار، المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار، المؤمن المهيمن العزيز العزيز الجبار المتكبر العزيز الجبار المتكبر، العزيز الجبار المتكبر، العزيز الجبار، الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر، الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر، الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار، الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر، الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر، سبحان الله عما يشركون، سبحان الله عما يشركون، سبحان الله عما يشركون، سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور، 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 هو الله له الأسماء الحسنى، له الأسماء الحسنى، له الأسماء الحسنى، له الأسماء، يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض، يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض، يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض، يسبح له ما في السماوات، وهو العزيز الحكيم، 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 وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد، وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد 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 وهو الغفور الودود ذو الجلال والإكرام 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 وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد ذو الجلال والإكرام 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 فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إلا أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الذي لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى ما شاء الله الحمد لله بنعمته تتم الصالحات اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك اللهم لك الشكر كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذه الليلة، فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهداها، ونعوذ بك من شر ما فيها وشر ما بعدها. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا ولجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا، وارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا. يا اللهم ارحمهما يا رب العالمين، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أكرم الأكرمين. Ya Rabbal Alameen, by your fadl and grace and rahmah, you have enabled us to participate in the majlis of dhikr and in the majlis of nasiha. We have heard from your beloved messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, that anyone who participates in these majalis, you forgive them out of your mercy and rahmah. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, include us in those people who will be forgiven, who will be forgiven from their minor, major, all shortcomings and sins. Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, we have heard how a great blessing you have given us, the blessing of Iman. We are unthankful, we've never thanked you as you deserve to be thanked for any blessing. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, we accept our wrongdoings, accept our shortcoming. We thank you with our tongues, although we know we cannot thank you, that you have blessed us with Iman. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, do not deprive us from the Iman, especially at the time of death and the time of departure. Ya Rabbal Alameen, enable us to fulfill and discharge the fara'id and obligations so that we may not be deprived. Enable us to become merciful, compassionate towards your creation and towards ourselves. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, we have heard how a great sin it is to do zulm or harm or wrong or injustice to any of your creation. Ya Rabbal Alameen, enable us to save ourselves from our tongue, from our hands, from our minds and heart. No harm should come to any person, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Rather, enable us to benefit and bring joy and happiness and comfort to your creation. Especially enable us to fulfill the rights of our immediate relative. Firstly, our parents, Ya Arhamar Rahim. Whoever parents have passed away, grant them Jannah and make their graves one of the gardens of Jannah. Whoever parents are living, enable us to fulfill their rights. Enable us to keep them happy and serve them. Whoever parents are ill or wounded in any way, Ya Rabbal Alameen, give them shifa. Give them shifa. Have mercy upon them, however they cared for us when we were in infancy and in the womb of the mother, how our mother cared for us, Ya Rabbal Alameen. You care for them in a more even merciful way, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Ya Rabbal Alameen, from rate and status of our mashayikh who given us these teachings, especially of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jailani, Khaja Mu'inuddin, Haja Bahauddin Naqshband, Shaykh Shahabuddin Suhwad, Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, and especially Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, who we have mentioned, and he was the follower of these mashayikh and one of the pious servants himself. Enable us, he had freed your masjid and Jerusalem from the kuffar. At least enable us to free our nafs and free ourselves from the shackles of shaitan and the nafsi ammara. Ya Rabbal Alameen, give us victory over all bad habits, over all drugs and over all habitual sins. Enable us to instill your love and love of your beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the love of the Amal Salihah in our hearts and minds. या रब्बल आलमीन, हम पर रहम फरमा, हमारे गुनाहों को माफ़ फरमा, हमारी तमाम हाजतों को पूरा फरमा। या अल्लाह, हर बीमार को शिफ़ा नसीब फरमा, ख़ास तौर पर जिनके रिश्तेदार वालिदैन बीमार हैं उनको शिफ़ा नसीब फरमा, जिनके वालिदैन दुनिया से चले उनकी मग़फ़िरत फरमा। या अरहमर राहिमीन, या मालिक यौमिद्दीन, इस मजलिस ज़िक्र को कबूल फरमा और इसको हमारे लिए ज़रिया निजात बना। जो लोग आए हैं इनकी झोलियाँ भर के या रब्बल आलमीन भेज, जो परेशानियाँ लेके उनको आसानियों में तब्दील फरमा, जो हाजतें लेके आए उनको पूरी फरमा, जो मुश्किलें लेके आए हैं उनको या रब्ब आसानियों में तब्दील फरमा। जिनके दिल बेसुकून है उनको सुकून नसीब फरमा, और जिनके हम गाफिल हैं हमें ज़िक्र की तौफीक, शुक्र की तौफीक अता फरमा। हमारे जिस्मों को इताअत नसीब फरमा, हमारे रिज़्क़ में जान माल इज़्ज़त में बरकत नसीब फरमा। या अरहमर राहिमीन सालिहीन के साथ ज़िंदा रकूनी में मौत नसीब फरमा। या अरहमर राहिमीन हम सब पर रहम फरमा, पूरी दुनिया के जो काफिर हैं उनको भी नूर ईमान नसीब फरमा, जो मुसलमान हैं उनको सही मानों में मुसलमान और साहिब तक़वा और सुन्नत का मुत्तबी और आशिक़ रसूल बना, आशिक़ सालिहीन और औलिया बना। या रब्बल दुनिया की मोहब्बत हसद बुग़्ज़ कीना जो तुझे चीज़ें पसंद नहीं है हमारे दिलों को उससे साफ़ फरमा। इस्लाम पर ज़िंदगी, ईमान पर ख़ात्मा नसीब फरमा। हमारे भी बच्चे रिश्तेदार ख़िश व कारब सबको नेक बना, एक बना, सुलह और के साथ रहने, इत्तफ़ाक़ के साथ रहने की तौफ़ीक़ अता फरमा। जो लोग आपस में रूठे हुए हैं, आपस में लड़े हुए हैं, झगड़े हुए हैं, उनको भी सुलह करने की तौफ़ीक़ अता फरमा। या हम जो बीमार हैं नफ्सियाती जिस्मानी रूहानी किसी तरह की बीमारी है उनको शिफा नसीब फरमा। या अरहमर राहिमीन, या अरहमर राहिमीन। वसल्लल्लाहु तआला अला खैरि खल्क़ि सय्यिदिना व नबिय्यिना व शफ़ीअना मुहम्मद व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन, आमीन। माशाअल्लाह। लाइन में आके मिल लें जिन्होंने सलाम कर ये पीछे कर।
Rahmatullah. If everyone can form a nice orderly line, please, on my left-hand side, your right, and would like to meet them, please just queue up in the line here and just meet, shake their hands, inshallah, before they go to embark on the dawah trip to Pakistan. सारे राइट पे हो जाएंगे। मुलाकात करना चाहता है वो इधर मेरे बाएं साइड ऑन योर राइट हैंड साइड पे आप खड़े हो जाएं, इंशाल्लाह फिर आप तरतीब से आप मुलाकात कर सकते हैं। जज़ाकल्लाह।
ताजदारे हरम ए शहंशाह दीन, तुम पे है दम करोड़ों दुरूद व सलाम। हो निगाहे करम हम पे सुल्तान दीन, तुम पे है दम करोड़ों दरूद व सलाम। तेरी यादों से मामूर सीना रहे, तेरी यादों से मामूर सीना रहे, लब पे है दम मदीना मदीना रहे। बस मैं दीवाना बन जाऊं ऐ माहिदी, बस मैं दीवाना बन, बस मैं दीवाना बन जाऊं ऐ माहिदी। तुम पे हर दम करोड़ों दुरूद व सलाम। कोई हुस्ने अमल पास मेरे नहीं, कोई हुस्ने अमल पास मेरे नहीं। फंस ना जाओ क़यामत में मौला कहीं, फंस ना जाऊं कयामत में मौला कहीं लाज रखना तुम्ही ऐ शफी उमम तुम पे है दम करोड़ों दुरूदो सलाम। या नबी अस्सलाम 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 अस्सलाम। ताजदारे हरम ताजदारे हरम शहंशाहिदी तुम पे है दम करोड़ों दुरूदो सलाम। हो निगाहे करम हम पे सुल्तान दी तुम पे है दम करोड़ों दुरूदो सलाम। या नबी या सलाम या रसूल सलाम। तेरी यादों से मामूर सीना रहे तेरी यादों से मामूर सीना रहे लब पे हरदम मदीना मदीना रहे लब पे हरदम मदीना मदीना रहे। बस मैं दीवाना बन जाऊं ऐ माहिदी तुम पे है दम करोड़ों दुरूदो सलाम। Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Those brother, uh, if you could listen me for a second, please, everyone silent. This is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all brothers, you are standing in a Jamaat khana. So please, if you like to talk about dunya, meeting and greeting, inshallah you can do outside as well. But bear in mind, you standing in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has certain rights upon everyone. So please do not raise your voice. And if anybody wants to learn the tariqah, so we've got brother Shamsher Ali Abbas. So they can come my left hand side. So we can actually tell them like the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those brothers, they are waiting to meet the Shaykh. So they can sit in a side. So and okay. Oh, that's sorry, वो मुलाकात तो हो गई है. So if anybody wants to learn the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he can come left hand side of myself. So they can actually approach brother Shamsher Ali Abbas. Jazakumullah khaira.
I think so. But I've sent them out to find out. But I think that was